Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hi there, good morning. You're watching Chartbusters on CNBC TV18, a show where we highlight all the buzzing stocks of the day, get you expert advice on how to capitalize and trade on those stocks. With me this morning is Reema Tendulkar. Good morning, Reema. Ho hums for a day for our market so far, not doing too much. Even if you take a look at the mid-cap index, while optically it is underperforming, advanced decline, it's an even keel. One stock in the red for one in the green.
Yes, and lost a bit of ground after an early positive start. So as we speak, the benchmark indices in the red. But well, even Asia is in the red. So Hang Seng is down close to about 200 odd points. But we'll discuss individual stocks in the next 30 minutes. Before that, a quick run through of the top headlines. Motown is moving in the fast lane on the back of strong April auto sales numbers. Maruti posts a record high sales, while Tata Motors commercial vehicle sales are up a whopping 126%. Bajaj Auto posts its highest monthly sales since September 2017.
HCL Tech, on the other hand, takes a knock in trade as the tech giant posts a 10% decline in their consolidated net profit. Disappoints on the guidance front as well, expecting revenues to grow between 9.5% to 11.5% on a constant currency basis, which includes inorganic growth.
On the earnings front, Dabur hits a fresh 52-week high on the back of strong Q4 and management indicating an uptick in the rural demand, while CEAT's Q4 margins at 11.8% beat street estimates. Concord 2 gains in trade after the management guides for a 10 to 12% volume growth in FY19.
Larsen & Toubro, on the other hand, sells off its electric and automations business to Schneider Electric for 14,000 crore rupees. L&T top brass calls the deal a win-win and in line with its stated intent to unlock value.
Aviation stocks like Interglobe, Jet and SpiceJet take a hit in trade after IOC hikes jet fuel prices by 6% to 65,340 a kilolitre.
All right, just keep an eye out on individual stocks as we're speaking. A couple of these mid-caps, they're spiking as we speak. United Breweries, that one's moved to the high point of the day, consumption doing fairly well. And you have HDIL2, which has suddenly moved about 6% from the low point of the day. So HDIL has spiked to the high point of the day. And we have Siemens 2. Remember, the company posts its results. So ahead of results, Siemens 2 has moved to the high point of the day. So that's all about individual stocks. What's the call on the index? Well, Ashwani, you've been saying that it's a sideways day. Do not move, do not make any trades in the index. You concur, or you will continue with that view?
See, that remains the case after couple of really good sessions. Today, just market taking some time off, particularly on IT. But overall, the trend remains on the upside, and we should again have upside movement because today, global cues are fairly sideways. So that way, some consolidation here between say 10,000, 600, 750, that wouldn't be out of question. Having said that, NBFCs are doing very well. So Bajaj Finance is a buy with a stop of 1900, target of 2020. CEAT is a buy with a stop of 1620, target of 1685. And Godrej Industries is a buy with a stop of 605, target of 630.
Okay, we're getting the April manufacturing PMI by India Nikkei, and that's improved on a month-on-month basis, 51.6 in April versus 51 in the month of March. Ashwani, is the correction or pause in the IT names today just a pause in an otherwise uptrending sort of a story for Indian IT? How would you read the correction that we're seeing in names like in HCL Technology?
See, all of these stocks have gone up vertically, and the first turnaround bit is kind of priced in. Now from here we need to see what sort of correction do you get. If you have a mild sideways type correction, that means there is more coming on the upside. But I think the first bit of rally is now done, and from here obviously buy on dips is possible, but you could have few more days of this sort of sideways moves, because given that stocks have run up 40-50%, some profit booking at current levels in IT seems likely.
All right, Ashwani, and before we let you go, your view on beer, United Breweries, that is, up at the high point of the day, up 30% this month as well. More to go?
See, it appears that this is a very strong consumption story which is now happening, and all kinds of consumption is moving up. United Breweries' recent highs of about 1200. Today it's crossing that. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get, maybe 1350, 1400 at some point. So definitely all sorts of consumption today is doing extremely well.
Okay, Ashwani, thank you very much for your thoughts. We'll speak later on in the day. Moving on, one of India's largest engineering and infrastructure company, Larsen & Toubro, is exiting some of its non-core businesses. The company will sell its electric and automation business to Germany's Schneider Electric for 14,000 crore rupees. We spoke to N. Subramaniam, the MD and CEO of L&T, about the approvals required for the sale to Schneider. Listen in.
There are certain regulatory as well as competitive commission approvals that we need to get. Now, as I explained, there are a few products which has certain implications on CCI. But one cannot look at certain products alone because nobody buys a product. When you're building a factory, when you're building an industrial complex, when you're building a building, or when you're building some automation solutions, you buy the entire range of products. You cannot have mismatch of products in that. And therefore, one has to view it holistically. And when you view it holistically, I think this is a transaction which needs to go through, and that's the way we will propose it, and that's the way we'll take it forward.
IRB InvIT, which is the Infrastructure Investment Fund, has reported a steady set of Q4 numbers, but the stock hasn't excited Dalal Street much. It listed last year at a price of 103 rupees, and as we speak, it's trading around that 85-86 mark. So a big correction in the last 1 year. To discuss their outlook, Tushar Kavedia, the CFO of the company, joins in now on the phone line. Hi Tushar, good morning. The total distribution made by the fund last year was about ₹7.55 to all your shareholders. Can you give us a guidance on the distribution for FY19?
Yeah, so our total distribution, considering the fourth quarter distribution of ₹3, which was approved by the board of IM on 30th April, the total distribution brings out to 10.55 per unit. And annualizing it comes to 12.10 per unit. Okay. So our original guidance of 12, we have exceeded the 12 rupees guidance to 12.10 because of the very good performance of our assets in the second half of the year. 4 of our projects have given a growth of almost 10%, more than 10% on year-on-year basis. Similarly, as far as guidance for 18-19 is concerned, we have increased our guidance from 12 existing what we have achieved 12.10 to 12.30 distribution per unit.
Okay. All right, so FY19 you will give 12.3 per unit. You spoke about 4 of your projects doing fairly well, 10% growth seen there. So what kind of traffic growth do you envisage across your assets going forward in FY19? What kind of traffic growth are you pricing in?
So, as envisaged earlier, we have considered a 5.5 to 6% growth on the traffic side, and similarly on inflation, we have considered 4 to 4.5%. So, totaling to a 10% revenue growth we have planned for this particular year. However, some of the assets have performed much better than this.
Okay. Tushar, why just a muted 1.6, 1.7% increase in the distribution in FY19 versus FY18? 12.3 versus 12.1?
Yeah, our original guidance was for 12 rupees payout for this particular year. We have increased that guidance just because of our assets are performing well beyond our projections. And in case if our projections or the growth is achieved much better, then we may look for higher distribution.
Okay.
All right, Tushar, if you could, tell us the distribution philosophy of the company. What percentage of your free cash flow do you propose to give it back to the fund holders? What 80%, 85%, 90%? Yeah. What is that number?
Yeah. So if you see, the regulations requires us to distribute minimum 90% of our net distributable cash flow. For 18-19, we have distributed almost 93.4%. And we look forward to maintain, we look forward that minimum 90% will be distributed in for this financial year, 18-19 also.
Okay. A lot of stressed assets are on the blocks. Is IRB InvIT scouting for any acquisitions?
We are closely monitoring the assets for acquisition in Innovate. Presently, we are seeing that our existing asset portfolio, which is also a big portfolio of almost 75 billion, we are looking for these assets to breathe first and give the expected yield what we were expecting from these assets. And for acquisition, definitely at the fag end of FY19 or start of the FY19-20, we may acquire one or two more assets without diluting our equity.
All right. So what is the kind of money that you're earmarking for these acquisitions, and will these acquisitions come from outside of IRB, or are you looking to buy some assets from IRB as well?
So we are at present we have a good list of assets coming out of from IRB portfolio also, and we may look for these assets, and in case if any other outside asset is available which definitely gives us a better yield and the expectations of the unit holders, we may look the external assets also.
Okay, just one final question. Your loans to related parties is in excess of 4,000 crore rupees. Could you explain what that is? Would you look to pare it down?
So, if you see, this loan is the related party loan is from IRB Invite to its project SPVs. Initially, the IPO money, which was money which came to IPO, was infused to these SPVs by IRB Invite Fund to replace the existing loans of these companies. So this related party loan which has been given to the project SPVs, they will be repaid in phased manner as per the agreement signed between the IRB Invite Fund and the SPVs.
So what do you mean by phased manner? If you could tell us the timeline.
I mean, it's not a phase. You can take it as per the facility agreement signed between the SPV and the IRB Invite Fund.
Okay. All right. Tushar, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining in.
So the stock on our radar is Som Distilleries, buzzing in trade this morning, up over 3% after they reported a strong fourth quarter numbers. Remember, Som Distilleries is the company that manufactures Hunter beer, and they have a couple of other brands as well. So we'll get chatting with the management of JK Arora, the chairman of the company. Thanks a lot, Mr. Arora, for joining in, and congratulations on a good set of numbers. Looks like a lot of people are drinking Hunter beer because, net revenue for FY18 at 350 crores. This compares with your earlier guidance of 300 crores. For next year, you had guided 450 crores. So, can you look to better that as well?
Yeah, we have, since the FY18 has been the more than our expectation. So you can say again the 450 crores, we may touch 500 crores in this year, FY19.
Okay, so FY19 revenue seen at 500 crores. Can you improve your margins as well, Mr. Arora, from the current 16.5%?
Yeah, if you see continuously, if you see this quarter, this March ending, this quarter has been better than the previous quarter, little more than 16.5. So margins are continuously improving.
All right. So, Mr. Arora, if you could tell us, recently you started the Karnataka plant, right? What kind of revenue potential does that plant have, and when does that revenue get recognized?
You see, as of now, we expected to open about 150 crores. That's the minimum. But since the brands, the beer brands are doing very well, and acceptance, of course, because of this election, the season for all companies, all beer companies have gone down because of there is so much of regulations, restrictions by the election commission. So you cannot produce after 3:30, you cannot sell it after this. There are a lot of restrictions. So season has actually got little bit this thing because of this election, but we will certainly do more than our estimate, 150 crores, what we have projected for this year.
Right. So, Mr. Arora, just a follow-up question on that. You've done 350 crores revenue in this year. You expect another 150 to come from the Karnataka plant, and you've guided for 500 crores in FY19. So, organically, from your current capacities, that 350 crore doesn't grow further?
No, this will definitely grow. This will definitely grow. This is the thing. We will definitely grow. These are the all, as I said, these are the all conservative estimates. We are hoping to get it more than this, but as of now, we have projected for this total is 500 crores. It will definitely much more than this. That's what I hope.
Mr. Arora, but we're in for a long innings in terms of state elections first, and then next year come the national elections. Do you see that hampering growth for the company?
No, it's not. You see what happens, they put restrictions for few days till the elections are there. You know, when they announce the code of conduct and till the elections are over almost for a month, there is so much of restrictions on the consumptions, on the transportation, on the production. So that you know, this is the peak season. 50% of the business you do in 3 months. So that peak months. So that affects everyone a little bit. I think maybe around 4 to 5% growth gets affected by this.
Okay.
Mr. Arora, I'm looking at your promoter stake. You're sounding pretty optimistic about the company's prospects going forward, but the promoter stake just about 23.2%. Yes, you have been increasing it over the last 2 quarters. Do you intend to increase your stake further? And are you looking to buy from any other large shareholders who are not classified as promoters?
You see, you can see our confidence that having this kind of our holding with 23%, we have this Karnataka plant where we had put in 150 crores investment. That investment is in a 100% subsidiary. This is the Karnataka plant is 100% subsidiary of SOM. So we are quite hopeful. There is some guideline of SEBI which we are working on, and after that we will certainly we intend to take our holding much more than our present holding. We have intention to take it to 50%. When, I can't say now, because it is all subject to maybe this guideline.
All right, Mr. Arora, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining in. There are reports of data theft from the Employees Provident Fund Organization, EPFO. Shireen Bhan joins in with the details. Shireen?
Well, that is right. In fact, this is a letter dated the 23rd of March 2018 that has been written by the Central Provident Fund Commissioner, VP Joy. And he has written this letter to Dinesh Tyagi, who's the CEO of the Common Service Center. He says very clearly that there has been an active data theft using the infrastructure of Aadhaar seeding, which is linked to the Employee Provident Fund Organization. Now, in fact, this has been something that apparently the Intelligence Bureau has brought to light as well in the month of March in a report. Now, what the Central Provident Fund Commissioner does suggest in this letter is that data has been stolen by hackers, and I'm quoting to you from the letter, by exploiting the vulnerabilities prevailing in the website, which is aadhaar.eposervices.com of the EPFO. Now, remember, in fact, a few months ago, the UIDAI had, in fact, after a fair amount of controversy, stated and issued a circular saying that it was not mandatory to link your Aadhaar to your EPFO account. So there was that move that had happened, and there was a lot of confusion on account of that, which that circular then tried to clarify. So it seems like there has been a vulnerability that has been identified in the aadhaar.eposervices.com, that website. In fact, the letter also goes on to say that the Intelligence Bureau has advised that they adhere to the best practices and guidelines and conduct, regular audits, etc., to understand what the vulnerability is. And in fact, they have now discontinued the services of aadhaar.eposervices.com till the time that the identified vulnerability is plugged, and also to assess if there are any other vulnerabilities that so far have not been identified. So till that time, they have decided to stop the servers and discontinued the hosted services as part of the Aadhaar EPFO.com. So this is the latest on this matter, but I do want to point out that this was written by the Central Provident Fund Commissioner to the Common Service Center CEO Dinesh Tyagi on the 23rd of March.